ladies and gentlemen, your City versus City 4v4 finals.
And it is time for the very last match. You're joining us here from the Humboldt City Civic Center Arena. It is City versus City. This is the men's championship matchup. North Carolina against San Diego. I'm Nick England, joined by Michael Klinsman and Leela Tucker, coming to you with the Tri-Broadcast one more time today as we celebrate this awesome three-day tournament coming to a close. On the side of San Diego, starting lineup, Will Price, Sean Cook, David Lee, and Paul Lottman. On the side of North Carolina, Taylor Crabb, Trevor Crabb, Taylor Sander, and the legend, Phil Dahlhauser. 2 sets to 25-21 if we go to 3, going 15. Sean Cook getting us started off. Good pass by Dahlhauser. Going to Sander on the outside, roll over the top. Quick note already off the bat. Dahlhauser passing middle back, putting Taylor Crabb on the outside. Haven't seen this all tournament long. You have to imagine Taylor Crabb's shoulder is feeling mighty fresh. Maybe they're going to kind of get that change up. No one will have scouted this lineup. Something to keep an eye on. Cook goes backside to Corey. Doug, it's going deep. It chases the line and it finds the line. That's twice in 2 matches that an amazing dig from the side of North Carolina finds court.
Already got a little trash talk from Trevor Crabb over there.
Aimed at you? Or from the...
To David Lee, who's not even on the court.
Oh, well, I mean, if that's not the most on-brand thing I've ever heard for both of them. Good little roll shot there from the outside. San Diego putting their first point on the board. Handled well by Sander. He gets an opportunity. Double block. Lee recovers. Corey with hands. Price blast finds the coffin corner deep. We talked about how effective Nick Amato was in the Laguna matchup against Sander. Well, this might be the best strategy. The 3-man block running David Lee as a true indoor middle blocker. And some might know he's been one of the best in the world. So this is going to be a great way to get 2 on him every single time. There it is. Will Price matches with David Lee. The outside right hand getting it done for Price. Corey keeping the pressure on from the service line.
And Trevor Crabb not being a traditional setter. We'll see if he can get these balls pin to pin, but that one a little bit inside gets the double block involved.
I think that's a great point here. You know, on the men's side, far less people with kind of that hand experience. I think the women's side of this has really experienced some more gifted setters. The men are like, hey, what's the biggest guy I can get away with that I might be able to option on too? So good point. Case in point is Sean Cook being a setter on the side of San Diego, looking for that option too. Trevor Crabb read it like a book, cracked it open, shut it down, said take it back to the library, not up in here.
Last time Trevor Crabb blocked the ball like that and walked right into the net, he was pushed to the ground. So apparently that's not coming from Team San Diego this match.
That was one of the most electric moments to grace our sport in social media recent history. Sander absolutely rips that one. A little knuckle punch. Price keeps it live. Dahlhauser out of system, no problem. Rips that one into backpedaling Corey.
Trevor Crabb looking for a set there instead of looking to set. You're the setter on this team, pal.
Are you, who knocked you out yesterday?
We won't mention that.
Okay, I didn't know if there was a little animosity sitting there.
No, I'm completely unbiased. I've got 2 ex-partners on the far side and the team that beat us yesterday. I'm completely unbiased.
Fill me in for my lack of history there. I know you played with Paul. Who else?
Me, Paul, and then me and D. Lee have played these last few AVP qualifiers. 2 great guys, no hard feelings at all.
Lottman trickles. Dahlhauser finds it with a perfect pass. Opportunity for Sander. Double block. Slows that one down, but nowhere near enough. Even with a hand on it, that ball is still moving way too fast to track down.
The story that I'm most interested in for this match is the fact that Will Price has taken a lot of extremely long looks after kills, and this team is not going to let that slide. So that's what I'm going to keep an eye on here is the trash talk battle between these 2 teams.
The best part is if memory serves, Will Price really not much of a traditional beach player, so I don't think there's a whole lot of history there one way or the other. Kind of a legendary indoor player in his own right. We've talked about how he was a national team player, didn't quite make the Olympic roster, but he, Lotman, and Lee shared time wearing red, white, and blue indoor. So when you say, oh, that man's got a cannon, maybe not as familiar with his name, well, plenty of people in the indoor circuit are. That guy's got quite the pedigree.
As Phil takes his 1,000th ball off the head while blocking.
The real reason for retirement.
Wow, great set.
That one goes long, no hands.
I'm interested to hear, Leela, what are your keys for San Diego to pull this game out for them?
I think the triple block up there is massive to try and slow Sander down, especially like we talked about with Paul, Will, and David all sharing a court together. At some point, they understand the 3 blocking system a lot better than a lot of these other beach guys do. So we'll see if with that they're able to slow down Sander enough. I mean, we saw Nick Amato do it single-handedly in the last match. We'll see if these 2 guys can do it up at the net.
Physicality is absolutely the name of the game here for both these teams. Lotman steps in front of Price. What a back set line cut. Sean Cook with probably the most vertical set of the tournament. Both pits over net. Sends that one back to the lefty on the backside.
I mean, he's risking his social media by being off-brand there with no pokey set, but we'll take the two-handed jump set.
He's already wrecking a bit of that, without hitting all weekend. Not enough opportunities to start yelling. So I think that's already been suspended for the weekend. He's willing to go for whatever wins.
There's still time.
Over the block, that one goes long.
Sanders so far going high and hard the first 6 swings by him. I think he knows that double block's coming and he's going to have to stay up in that higher airspace, but a couple errors now that San Diego is forced by not doing much.
Well, we really harped on the low and over. Low and tight, do it right. And Lotman and Lee weren't chasing him on a lot of those. So if he's looking for kind of little paddle targets up there, they're not home. But nice off speed there to get him out of that one.
San Diego goes with offense-defense subs here. So Evan Corey back on the right, David Lee stepping off so that they have 3 people who are familiar with serve-receive back here passing.
Swing lefty, and he gets it done. I have to say, the way in which you approach the subject of saying familiarity with serve-receive when talking about David Lee was one of the most friendly ways to say a man that has made his money as a middle blocker maybe should stay on the net.
Let's just say when he asked me for what he should do blocking, I said, I'm not going to even start that conversation with you.
Ooh, the cheeky off speed. Evan Corey. That's what great hitters do. Everything about that reads just a normal jump serve. Right before contact, pulls it off, goes for a little bit of that top hat coming over the ball, goes off speed. Great little adjustment, and then goes straight back to Power Alley, sends that one to Austin. Just put it on the road. It's out of here.
My most hated mistake in beach volleyball is you get an ace and you think you have green light right after it. Put the next one in, I'll give you green light right after.
It's funny, you seem to be preaching a lot about consistency. Win the big point, play the next point. Win the big point, get the ace, play the next point. I think a lot of us get a little bit of red. We see red and then go green light.
You're not going to get many easy ones off this North Carolina team, so when you do, don't take advantage of it.
Pump the brakes, give yourself a chance. 10s apiece, and that serve long is going to bring us to our technical timeout. Quick breather. If you haven't already, buckle your seatbelts, grab a drink, grab a friend, tell a friend. We'll be right back. Well, that technical timeout iced a little bit of a close game. Now the answer is, how do both these teams, do they use that to make an adjustment? Do they, Lotman, does he get iced by that, hitting this big jump serve? The answer is clearly not. but a great pass by Dahlhauser. Crab dug by Price. Lee tries to get up there, but not coming back. Trevor Crab too good on the net.
David Lee proving to be the hardest guy to talk trash to. He's just too nice. Trevor Crab trying to get something out of him, and David Lee is smiling, a little, banter back, just completely disarms him.
It's one of those kind of like unsung superpowers. He's inwardly critical, but always smiles to his teammate. So he's one of those guys that he'll hear you when you have something to say, but it doesn't phase just game state at all.
Now, I played with David Lee early on in my career when I was a young guy, and I remember when I first met him, I was like, holy cow, this is David Lee. I've watched the highlight videos. I've been looking at him in a USA uniform. The nicest guy. Couldn't have been any nicer for a young kid coming out.
Let that be a lesson out there. You're never too good to just be a good dude. We love to see that.
I mean, we've got the nicest guy in Phil Dahlhauser, who is my GOAT, probably your GOAT, the GOAT of beach volleyball. In Phil Dahlhauser, the nicest guy as well.
It's funny being the Mikasa guy. I got to have a fun conversation with him. We're moving offices here shortly, and I have a bunch of posters of him and Todd Rogers, like that early 2000s era, like hype posters from all over the office. And I was asking, we're getting rid of them. And I was like, hey man, do you want any of these? I don't know what's around your house, but he's like, yeah, mate. It's going to collect dust. Okay, I'll let it go. But it was kind of a funny conversation. My entire work life at Mikasa is like, you just walk around seeing Misty May, and all the household names.
He's got a box of medals in a garage just collecting dust. Not a flashy guy.
What a problem to have.
It's a big box, too.
A big box. A couple moving boxes.
Truly.
That swing going long there, tied at 13s.
On the note of Phil Dahlhauser, his serve, receive, passing has been locked in this game.
Yeah, he's been very good. And right there we see that tempo back set. Leila, I don't think you got to hear it much yesterday, but the floor mics were picking up how much we heard Corey and Sean just yelling, tempo, 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 to just huck that back quick. And it was working out, and it's been working all day today for San Diego as well. Trevor navigates the net there, stays out of it. D. Lee shows that platform. Will Price goes long on that one.
Taylor Sanders seemingly distracting everybody, trying to get a net call, gets an outswing, and now the other team arguing that he was a distraction to their offense.
So fill me in. What is the, obviously with no underline, there's no rule there, but what is it? Is it player contact? Is it interrupting play? What discerns an under, since he didn't touch the net, but if he's going all the way under to avoid the net, at what point is it a violation?
In traditional doubles, under is just a hindrance on playing the next ball. So if you have a play on the next ball and you're unable to do so because somebody has affected you from the other team, that's an under.
So that's kind of what they were probably looking for there.
Correct.
Wow. Price shut down by Dahlhauser.
If I know anything, a low ball trying to go sharp cross on Phil Dahlhauser does not work.
Better off swinging for the stands.
That's, with Phil on top of you, you're swinging straight
Maybe
above
for
you.
the ceiling.
Straight above you.
Thousands have tried.
All have failed. Backside. Corey self-covers with a great punch dig. Price gets another opportunity. Field goals Dahlhauser, but no touch. 16-14. You know a game is close when a 2-point lead feels like it might be what wins you the game at 16-14.
First chink in the armor of Will Price here this tournament. Haven't seen him make 2 back-to-back errors all weekend.
And just like that, we talk about the game state. 16-14, San Diego says we need a timeout now. They're not waiting at all for North Carolina, so we're not going to wait here either. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Well, we're having a lot of conversations over here off mic about what stipulates a good time to call a timeout. Maybe a point early, maybe a point late on the side of San Diego. All the same, glad they truncated this one here. Slow it down, especially because Sander hitting that jump serve. Force him to go float here. Cook to Price. Price gets deflected off Dahlhauser. Another opportunity for North Carolina to extend this lead. And what a fix. Taylor Crabb square to the net, throws it over his right shoulder. Nobody home for that blocking move. Price tries to recover, but just late to that block.
And I'm wondering the same thing Trevor Crabb is here. That ball might have been in that Will Price just reached under the net and grabbed. You got to let that drop. Oh, Taylor.
Let's talk about it.
Great job after the timeout putting one in play. Tries to rush a serve there right after the whistle and serves it almost under the net. I like Modelo's serve.
We had a fun conversation yesterday. There was one that didn't even make it to the net. I forget what game that was. We were sending similar requests. Good pickup by Lottman. That one goes long. Will Price continues to struggle, uncharacteristically so. Lila, you said it best. A man that has been undeterred. He sees double blocks, just swings high into him out the back of the court.
Well, and is this alpha situation where you've got Taylor Sander in front of you? Who's better, who's worse? And Taylor Sander so far not even quivering at the sight of Will Price.
Great save by Price, punched over by Lottman. Sander off the high hands. If I'm not mistaken, in terms of the USA gym, Lottman's era of outside was replaced. Taylor Sander was kind of that guy that stepped into the gym. So when you look at the chronology of USA men's indoor, you know, there's kind of that also the young gun that took your spot. Great pass by Lottman. Corey blocked back, huge cover. There's that knuckle set attempt. High risk, low reward, and tough way to end that set. Sort of got away from San Diego at the end. 20-15, still one more to go. Apologies, but we were at a situation that was 14s, 15s, and all of a sudden, 5-point run. North Carolina really opens it up.
And this is where that you get up, your team gets up one. Do you wait and call a timeout and see if you get a side out, or do you wait and they go up two, and now the space has just made this team comfortable?
Bump set outside. Sander misses just wide. Almost catches a hand, almost catches the line, catches neither. That's going to be a point for San Diego. Price hammers that jump serve. Trevor tracks that one down. Step close for Sander, dug by Corey.
Oh no. Can't happen.
Yeah, a little confusion there. I'm not sure why Paul didn't take that one. He hasn't been swinging all weekend. I don't know if his shoulder's not feeling it or if he just trusted Price to do it. But either way, when you're going to lose, I'm always a big proponent. Try to go out high on energy. Bring that energy into the set number two. That one, you're just going to go lament and sit on that one.
And you've got the Long Beach dynamic of the Crabs, Paul Lottman, and David Lee. As soon as Paul does not approach and hit that ball, they're in his ear. Paul doesn't want it. Long Beach State connection. These boys are having a good time, but a lot of competition out here. Excited to see the second set.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back for set number two, see if North Carolina wins this one 2 straight or if San Diego goes the distance. We'll be right back. Set number two about to get underway, but it would not be underway without the support of the wonderful sponsors taking care of City versus City. A huge shout out to Waste Connections, Liberty Materials, Mikasa Volleyball, Jump Serve, Volleyball USA, and Sanderac. And while I'm reading the names of those companies, I'm accosted personally with a swing for a game ball touch. I won't take it personal. but that's going to go the way of North Carolina for the first point, 1-0. Lotman dialed in for that pass, absolutely sets up the offense. Evan Corey puts that one away nice and quick.
Interested to see if Will Price turns it on this set. He's going to be a huge key for them offensively to get a couple of clutch digs. They're going to look to win this one.
Yeah, faltered a bit at the end of set number 1. He's definitely going to be the instrument they need to rely on. Sean Cook, another big jump serve. Sander moves the hand of David Lee, not something you see happen frequently.
And Sander trying to give D. Lee some blocking lessons over there.
Absolutely handcuffed. Leela, fill me in here really quick. Have Taylor and Taylor played with this ball very much? Because they don't really do international, right? They're pretty much all AVP.
They did quite a bit of international tournaments during Olympic qualifications, so they're familiar with it. You know, they're with the USA program. They use it often, but lately they're very much so Wilson guys right now. But they know how to hit it.
I forgot about that early stint. They kind of chased qualifications, and at a certain point, it's not worth traveling the world.
Okay.
3-2 in the way of North Carolina.
I'm interested to hear, Leila, where do you put this serve if you're Evan Corey?
Phil. Oh!
He called it!
5 for 5. Somebody get him a jersey.
Guys, am I in the wrong profession here?
How all great transitions happen. Somebody get him the audio block, start sending it in.
I should be on the sides of the streets in New Orleans, you know, casting some wishes. And
Well, hey, they just won the women's side, so you can start there. Good block touch, slows that one down. Will Price absolutely calibrated on that one. A 4-3 2-point push. All right, Leela, you said, you look at any 2-point run in the second set, starts to be threatening. 4-3. Are you burning a timeout there?
not yet, especially when you know the side over there. You know, Taylor's, Phil, those guys aren't worried until it's 18-18. They don't break a sweat, so I'm not worried about that side right now.
Had it been San Diego, would you burn one this early?
Possible.
There
I'm
it
thinking
is.
about it.
Triple block. Going that high seam between Lee and Lotman. You know, we talk about low and tight going over. That one didn't matter. That was OT all day.
Where you pick your poison with Phil. How do you want it?
We also said, there's the points where you kind of just smile, nod, clap, and walk back. You don't let that one sit in the brain space right there.
Phil running up here. They had Trevor blocking earlier in the first set. Phil running up. The only lift we've seen in this tournament so far by Sean Cook.
I would say it was a set with inverted hands.
It's just a backwards set if you look at it from that perspective.
That's what I'm saying. Just define what a set is for me. We're just here to challenge status quo.
Once again, Phil Dalhausser does that on purpose. Don't let him trick you.
Good pass by Lotman. Corey going thumb down on the line. He really hits that swing very well for how much he kind of just gets to go power alley as a lefty.
Yeah, he's got a pretty inactive wrist in his arm swing, so it's very flat, and he just kind of twists it a little bit either way, and it allows him to chop around pretty quickly, but, very sharp like that.
Good pass by Sander. Dalhausser out of the middle. That was the most middle blocker-esque attack we have seen from any team all tournament long. He looks real big coming out of the middle there.
Yeah, D. Lee asking for Will Price to help. I don't know that it matters there. I think really they've got to figure out this back row defense if they're going to start setting Phil out of the back or in the middle.
I think the name of the game is now moving for seams as opposed to having a target. But the hard part is San Diego's made their money jump serving across the board. And jump serving, you don't really get that privilege to pick a seam. you're kind of you're balancing how hard can I hit this versus am I going left side of court, right side of court? And I think right now, since they're really not using that float, you know, everyone's putting some helmets on over there and they're getting good results on the passing. 6-6. But there it is. If you could see that from the baseline, Price struck that ball from that 2 o'clock top right. He got it to tail, and then it followed into the seam. That's exactly what we would like to see, just hard to do, but on cue, Price executes brilliantly.
2 aces into that seam in between Taylor Sander and Phil Dahlhauser here in this second set.
And I think that's the seam you really want, because Sander wants to swing first. Not that he's afraid to pass, but getting Phil moving to his right. Recipe for success. That ball was out.
Got it. Yeah, thank you.
Ball's out. I saw the line jump, but definitely sand splash from this point of view.
That I saw the exact same.
Trevor Crabb all the way by the opposing sideline or opposing end line. Not allowed on the AVP. Here on the CVC, though, apparently that's fine.
Hey, entertainment first. Yep, good call. We had pretty good binoculars on that one. Leela called that dead on. Sand moved the line, but it wasn't a line bounce from the ball.
And Will Price still on the service line. A little bit of a break there in the rhythm. Does he keep this ball in, or does he green line it? What do you guys got?
He's been pretty good on the control. I think he's still going to hit that at 70%, but I think he's been pretty self-aware of situations.
I like that.
I think the Price is right. He green lights this all the way into the deep right.
Oh, it was going there, Michael. It was going there. Guys, if you guys would like to know what's happening next week in your lives, please come talk to us up here. We know, okay?
Feeling like work's not going your way, maybe got a nice date coming up, whatever it might be.
You got a test next week. You need to know the answers. Come talk to us.
It's definitely C. Definitely C. The multiple choice.
What a dig. Cut back right away. Sander going off the outside hand to Evan Corey. My brain struggles to fathom how you dig a ball with your knuckles that perfectly. It does not compute.
Reps and reps. And you hear Sander with a little hi-ya. That's what I'm saying. This is that alpha dog mentality that he has. I know it. I have played against him for long enough now. Anytime somebody starts giving a little bit, he turns it up, and you see it there. Another stuff block there. No hi-ya, but stuff block.
He is one of those players that kind of elevates to it, but he doesn't really let it bring him down. He knows how to use that. He's one of those guys you don't talk trash to. You just let him do his own thing and hope that he kind of sits on his island. Ooh, good touch there. Taylor Crabb almost able to bring that one back. But that's the high swings off the double block with Price that we're used to seeing. He slowed down a little bit.
Happy to see Will Price turning it on in this set, playing incredible these last 8 points.
Cook sends that one long. Again, I just feel like San Diego is giving more bailout points to North Carolina, and it's tough to do. They're keeping it very close, but it's like mitigate some of those missed serve errors. See where you're at after that. Overpass.
I'll let Phil set it. Doesn't matter who sets it.
It is interesting that North Carolina is one of the teams that it feels like, depending on who their server is, dictates an entirely different lineup every time. Sander swings left, swings right, sometimes Phil's back row, sometimes he's front row, whether they put a Trevor. They're the most dynamic team by far. Outside, Price got that double, roll shot over the top, but dug by Sander. Oh, small roll over. Trevor picks it up. Bump set from Sander, but that one is shut down. Will Price finds Dahlhauser in a much-needed block from the side of San Diego to go to 11-10 on a technical timeout. 21 points.
How on brand for Trevor Crabb, his first swing to hit a cut shot.
Just taking pot shots with the mic. I love it. Don't waste a chance. We're going to take a breather. Corey goes for that adjustment there, throws a float serve, calming the gas down, and I think that maybe that's an adjustment for San Diego. Move one or two of the guys to a float serve, more consistent, and I think that maybe the different look, one of those things you always hear, especially on the men's side, is a lot more jump serving in general. Guys are very confident getting behind a jump serve. It's not as hard. A float serve, that's gonna move way more. Maybe go to that just to kind of see something different for the side of serve receive for North Carolina. Good pass from Price.
Oh, you heard it. You heard it there on the block. Sander letting him know he's got it before he's even hit it. Yeah, you talk about float serving with this Mikasa. If you can give it just a touch of backspin, it will drop as soon as it crosses the net. And Phil has hit a few of them already this tournament. We'll see what he's got for us here.
Again, what's going on in your life next week? Leela's in town. He'll read your fortune. Roll shot over. Net all the same. San Diego getting a little disheveled here. This happened a little bit later in set one than it's happening now, but San Diego starting to come apart at the seams a little bit, down by 4, and frankly, I'm not sure any team can handle a 4-point deficit against this North Carolina squad.
Yeah, I think San Diego needs some middle presence here. Something quick out of the middle to keep those blockers honest, keep them second guessing.
I agree. It does seem like the blockers are way too confident in this pace. Great serve from Phil down the line.
And that's that Mikasa ball dropping low and away from Will Price towards the sideline. He thinks he's got it right off his left hip, dives away and to the sideline, and now he's diving, laying out for it.
And there is the timeout. Maybe a couple points too late. We'll see if San Diego has anything to talk about. We'll be back right after this. Well, coming back from a much-needed San Diego timeout, guys, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this one really just comes down to serve and pass. I think North Carolina has a pretty substantial leg up on San Diego. Anything other than that you're seeing?
No, I think you hit it on the nail. I mean, North Carolina's getting opportunities and they're taking advantage. Meanwhile, San Diego seemingly struggle to get a good swing off.
Right there, swing goes wide, a much needed side out from the side of San Diego.
They're asking about the open hand dig off of the deflection on the block by Taylor.
100% it's a hard hit off the block.
See,
Yeah,
that's the trash talk you'll get from Taylor is no, you're wrong. What are you talking about? Very subtle.
Which is funny because I'm actually completely with him here. That was an absolute monstrous swing, deflected off block.
But if I'm Paul, though, you need something.
I
You need
agree.
something here. You're down 4 in the second set. You lost the first. You need something. You got to do something to get this team.
I'm
fired
just
up,
big
right?
that you just won the point, though, and now you're icing yourself before you go hit a jump serve. Obviously didn't matter there, but I just don't like slowing the game down when you're the one that's currently in control. I'm big on the, speed it up when you got it, slow it down when you don't. If it happened in that play right there, go have a chat. Trevor Crabb, 16-11, gets Paul Lottman on the high seam right there. That's where that deep float pays off. As soon as this gets past and you're kind of going up high above your shoulder, this is a very difficult ball to control.
That's where this big court is different. I mean, Paul Lottman saying that ball was out. I don't know that it was. It might have been out on a doubles court, but here it might be in.
Yeah, I have the same read. I think that ball was gonna catch some ground. And honestly, small victories here. I'd rather get ace off my platform than at this point in the game watching between two guys that ball just hit some sand. Either way, right now, I think North Carolina getting to turn this one into a little bit of coasting mode with a 6-point lead. All pressure on San Diego. What a touch. The Crabb brothers doing what they do best. Taylor puts that one up to give some time to reset. Price into the angle. Sander not quite finding the lip he was hoping for. Man, Taylor absolutely scooped that first ball.
Yeah, Will Price having to work hard for a kill here.
Leila, early predictions on the location of this serve.
I mean, I think he's probably going to cut this back to Phil Sander down that seam.
Wow, really well handled. High ball out to Taylor. Taylor roll shot. That's the tough one. The Crabs, they see a double block, and you kind of mentioned this. I think it was off mic, Leila. It's something that everyone hasn't quite figured out yet. You identify that double block, go to roll shots. You don't have to necessarily challenge through that, but there is so much open court on the big court over a double block. It almost might as well be a single blocker at that point, but there is way more court to try and cover.
Sky ball.
Yes!
Off the fan.
Handled by Lotman with the no-look pass and buried down the line.
Can appreciate the showmanship from Paul, you know.
He feels a little disrespect and says it's so casual. I'm just going to look away as I pass this one. But hey, got a little solid pop from the crowd. When you got a 6-point differential, make it a little interesting. I like that. Trevor overhead, David Lee.
David Lee stares him down 2 seconds and just can't take being mean to somebody. Immediately says, yeah, it's all right, I apologize.
Cracks a huge smile.
Yeah.
All intimidation factor gone immediately. 18-14 here. Cook absolutely put some pace on that ball, so much so Dahlhauser had to hit the deck before that one hit him.
And completely threw the entire amount of sand on his foot on Taylor Crab.
That was not the follow-up. I missed that. Sander just going ace or case on that one.
Sander hasn't seen a red light since he was in, primary school.
Pretty accurate. Evan Corey hammers that one. Easy pass by Dahlhauser. Knuckled into the block from above it by Sander. Oh my goodness, the Crab brothers doing it once again. Defensive stop after defensive stop. Paul Lotman with his first swing of the day burns the seam under Dahlhauser.
And the grin from Paul after that swing makes me think that they talked about him not hitting a lot of balls in this tournament right after he gets a kill from the outside, which, by the way, he was an Olympian at back in 2012. I wish our headphones caught what's on Sean's mic, just feeding into the headphones,
That's a tough miss. Basically seals the fate of this game. It was already looking grim, but I think that's where I still want to see Evan Corey. We saw him go to a float earlier, had some good success, got an ace off of it. Time and place, game management, but
and they move Phil the middle, and you don't see any short serves. You don't see any real movement or testing of Phil's footwork back there.
Match point for City versus City. Set to Will Price, deflected. That one goes over Taylor Crab. San Diego lives to fight another day.
I mean, my head's kind of going, I'm spinning right now. Obviously, we're late in this set to make adjustments, but, I'm kind of thinking, Will's not successful. Why aren't Evan and Sean on the pins and Lotman setting, maybe?
Yeah, just change something up. Well, that's why right there. Lotman comes up with a huge dig. Price swings into the block, covers himself with a great poke. Evan Corey takes hands, and that one's going to go the way of Will Price. Good little push into the block off Sanders' outside right hand.
Is that enough life for San Diego to overcome? Oh, timeout.
I was going to say, this is one, you called the timeout. We talked about it. Even if you don't get the side out, then you still have a buffer. We're going to take a little break here. We'll be right back.
Well, I'd put my house on where this next set is going for Team North Carolina.
Yeah, send 3 to Taylor. But then again, he sees 3 coming his way. He's just got the entirety of the court. He'll go shots all day. Lotman gets a good serve, moves Dahlhauser around. High on the block. Nice move by Evan Corey. Gives this one a chance. Price comes inside, dug by Crabb. That one goes to D. Lee in the middle. Another opportunity. North Carolina, can they close this out? Dahlhauser over the top.
David.
Doug Lee turns out of the
gosh.
net. Another opportunity, no blocker home. That one's done, but David Lee into the net. And that's gonna do it. Well, you can't say there was any shortage of
Round
effort.
of applause for the San Diego team for battling all day, coming in second in this amazing field. And then how about a big round of applause for North Carolina?
That's going to do it on our end. That's going to crown North Carolina the overall champions. Phil Dahlhauser, Trevor Crabb, Taylor Sander. And that's going to be your runner-up, San Diego, Paul Lotman, Sean Cook, David Lee, Will Price, and Evan Corey. A wonderful showing from both of these squads and an epic conclusion to a great 3-day tournament here at the City versus City 4v4. A final shout out to our champions. That's going to be North Carolina on the men's side, and on the women's side, we see New Orleans. From myself, Nick England, Michael Klinsman, and Leela Tucker joining us all day here on Sunday. All of the staff, volunteers, and refs at City vs. City, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate your support. We'll see you next time. Be sure to follow Instagram for all of the latest updates at City vs. City. We'll see you next time.
Looked like a NASCAR celebration. That was awesome. Hey, congratulations, guys. Know this before I start asking questions that this is not what I do for a living, so I apologize for the stupidity. Could you say that again? I don't speak on a microphone for a living either. I think we all agree, you guys threw together what I would consider a pretty ragtag team. Y'all were probably in my mind like the lowest seed. How did y'all pull this together to beat what I would consider some pretty damn good teams? I'm gonna let.
Well, we played, I think all 4 of us have played volleyball together at some point in our lives. So I think we've had pretty good chemistry, and we actually played in a couple formats together, so that always helps. But yeah, a lot of great players out here. Thank you for having us.
Thanks, that was Taylor Crabb. Basically what I heard is they cheated. That's exactly what I heard. What about the competition? Taylor, what do you think about the competition?
Yeah, it was great. A bunch of good teams. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Thank you for putting this event on, and thank you for all the fans that came out and cheered for us.
Taylor Sanders, everybody, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Trevor, you may not remember this, but I played against you one time, against your dad in the dinosaur. He literally just said we beat you. I know! I was there! What did you think about a couple things? What did you think about the sand? And what did you think about the stadium?
The sand, I think, was some of the best sand we've ever played on. It's nice and soft and perfect depth, you know, so wherever you got it from, I think keep getting it from there. And yeah, the stadium is nice. The fans are, the big fans are clutch, you know, in this without any AC, but it was perfect. You know, not too hot, not too cold.
Thank you guys. That's Trevor Crabb, in case y'all didn't know who that was.